What are the Gospels, yeah? Don't answer too quickly. No, nah. They are not a manual. They are not a penal code. They are not a book that fell from the sky with a sticker saying mandatory use. The Gospels are news. And news, by definition, happens. Gospel means exactly this: good news, not good law, not good regulation. News enters history the way a voice enters a room. It shifts the air. It disturbs. It demands attention. The Gospels exist because something happened, not because someone felt like writing. A man walked, he spoke. He ate with tax collectors and prostitutes. He touched lepers. He spoke of God the way one speaks of a father who runs toward his son. And then he died, badly, in public, the way slaves and rebels die. End of the story? No, because afterward, those who had seen him began to say something absurd. He is alive. Not as an idea, not as a symbol, alive. He eats with us. He walks with us. He still speaks to us. The Gospels are born here, at the exact point where memory is no longer enough. When an event is too great, memory alone bursts. And so one writes. But pay attention. One does not write immediately. At first, one tells it out loud, in the evening, at the table, in homes. I was there. I saw him. He said this to me. The Gospel is born first as breath, then as word, only at the end as text. And this already explains a great deal. The Gospels are not born to command. They are born to testify. They do not say, you must. They say, it happened. And when something has truly happened, either you tell it or you suffocate. That is why the Gospels exist. Who then wrote these Gospels? Here another fog must be cleared away. They were not written by divine stenographers, no angel with a notebook. They were written by men, with trembling hands, with wounded memory, within living communities. Mark, Matthew, Luke, John, 4 names, 4 doors. They are not modern journalists. They are not novelists. They are not academic philosophers. They are witnesses or collectors of witnesses. People who listened to those who were there, who guarded words the way one guards fire. Mark writes fast, short sentences, like someone with little time, like someone who feels breath on his neck. Matthew writes for Jews who know the law. He quotes, he connects, he shows continuity. Luke is a physician, Greek, attentive to detail. He writes for those who are not Jewish, for outsiders. John writes late, very late, when time has already filtered everything, when words become light and vertigo. And here comes the crucial question. Why precisely in that period? Why not immediately? Why not 100 years later? Because the first generation is still alive. The witnesses are breathing. They can say, no, he never said that. Yes, I heard that too. It is the fragile time of living memory. Too early and you don't understand. Too late and you invent. The Gospels are born in this unstable balance, when the event is clear but has not yet become legend. And then, why in Greek? Not in Hebrew, not in Latin. Because Greek is the language of the world, the language of ports, of markets, of roads. Jesus speaks Aramaic, but the world understands Greek. To write in Greek means one thing only. This story is not for one tribe. It is for everyone. Greek allows nuance. It allows questions. It allows poetry. In the beginning was the Logos. Logos. Not just any word. Reason, meaning, the breath of the universe. Translate it badly and everything collapses. The Gospels choose the language that can bear the weight, not the sacred one, the capable one. And here comes the greatest wound. Why 4? Why not just 1? Why not 10? Because truth does not allow itself to be crushed into a single angle. A face seen from the north is not the same as one seen from the south, and yet it is the same face. 4 Gospels are not confusion, they are depth. Like the 4 cardinal points, like the 4 rivers of Eden, like the 4 living creatures of Revelation. One alone would be suspicious. Four are a choir. And now we come to the point that fascinates everyone. Look, the apocrypha. It sounds good, doesn't it? Apocryphal always sounds truer than the true, more secret, more forbidden. They hid gospels from us. There were more uncomfortable texts. The church censored them. It's a narrative people love because it's modern, because it turns everything into a conspiracy. Reality is less cinematic, and precisely for that reason, more interesting. The apocryphal gospels are not excluded because they are dangerous, but because they arrive late, very late. Second century, third century, when the witnesses are dead, when no one can say anymore, yet no, this never happened. Then many apocrypha do not tell Jesus' story. They tell ideas, endless discourses, esoteric dialogues, secrets whispered to a few chosen ones. A Jesus who speaks like a philosophy manual, a Jesus who explains everything, a Jesus who does not sweat, does not cry, does not bleed. An abstract Jesus, comfortable. But the Jesus of the canonical Gospels is different. He eats, he naps in the boat, he gets tired, he shouts, he remains silent before Pilate. The Apocrypha want to fill in the gaps. The Gospels do not. The Gospels leave wounds open, leaving space for faith. And then there is a decisive criterion: the community. The four Gospels are read everywhere, in Rome, in Antioch, in Alexandria. The Apocrypha are not. They remain local, sectarian, private. The church does not choose the Gospels. It recognizes them. The way one recognizes a familiar voice in the middle of noise. And now the final question, the one that truly unsettles. Are the Gospels normative texts, like the Quran? No. And the difference is enormous. The Quran is dictated, the Gospel is told. For Muslims, the Quran descends from heaven. The Gospel walks on human legs. For Muslims, the Quran is God's word without mediation. The Gospel is God accepting the mediation of man. Grammatical errors, imperfect memories, different styles. If God trusts the human so deeply as to pass through its fragility, then the center is not the law. It is relationship. The Gospels do not say, here is what you must do. They say, look who passed by. And after you have looked, you can no longer pretend nothing happened. There is one last thing that must be said, and it is perhaps the most delicate. The Gospels are not born to found a religion. This sentence makes many stumble, but it is true. They are born because someone cannot remain silent. Whoever has seen the risen Jesus does not become an ideologue. He becomes a witness. And the witness does not control the message. He hands it on. That is why the Gospels are full of embarrassments, of misunderstandings, of obtuse disciples. Peter who denies, Thomas who doubts, the 12 who run away. If this were propaganda, these things would disappear. If it were a normative text, everything would be clean, ordered, unappealable. Instead, no. The Gospels are full of silences, of parables that do not explain, of questions left open. Who do you say that I am? Jesus does not dictate, he questions. And this is the decisive difference. The Quran is born as a word to be preserved, the Gospel as a word to be crossed through. In the Quran, God speaks. In the Gospel, God often remains silent. He writes with the body, with gestures, with the cross. And then you understand why the Gospels do not close, why they end badly. Mark ends with fear, the women fleeing from the tomb. There is no triumph, there is vertigo, as if to say, now it's your turn. The Gospels do not ask for blind obedience, they ask for a gaze. Come and see. Not, sign here. That is why they cross the centuries, because they are not cages, they are open wounds. And a wound, either you close it quickly or you learn to live with it. In the end, they remain there. 4 slender texts, fragile, written in a foreign language. No imposition, no threat. Only a story that fascinates by its truth. A God who does not dictate laws from above but enters time and accepts being told imperfectly. He accepts smudges. He accepts differences. He even accepts being betrayed. That is why the Gospels do not age, because they are not a system. They are an encounter. And an encounter, if it is real, never truly closes.